Hey, welcome to your Pisces horoscopes for the week of November 12th through the 18th. We continue to have Neptune and Saturn at the helm here. Saturn in a bit of a challenge with the Sun and Mars at the end of the week. That, of course, actually begins with a challenge with Mercury at the beginning of the week. So it's the same challenge, it just changes a little bit slightly. Saturn's focus is on self, while Neptune is bringing an influence of the past into this. And Neptune continues to be retrograde this week. What's interesting in terms of how those two planets are working with each other is the fact that the past, a lot of times we define ourselves by what happened to us, not what we've done for our lives, but what has happened to us. And so that's where Neptune's influence is sort of interesting, because it is focused on the past and moves into being right on the cusp of the past, focus on the past, as well as focus on self. Saturn is all focused on self here. And in terms of focus on self, Saturn is all about taking on those responsibilities that are yours. So when we're talking about this little challenge here that Saturn has with Mercury at the beginning of the week, Mercury's focus is on career. And Mercury is very detail oriented, very computerized, very black and white. But also Mercury is all about communication. Now, in terms of success in your career, what this is saying is that it's really important to make sure that you take responsibility for the actions or the things that happen in your career. For example, as I mentioned in one of the earlier horoscopes, when you are the victim of somebody else's circumstances, that is on them the first time. Every subsequent time after that, it's on you, because you're not taking responsibility to fix the problem for yourself. You can't fix somebody else's problem, but you can remove yourself from it if that's a thing that you can do. You can adjust how you deal with it so that you're not always the victim of those circumstances. There's a lot of different things that you can do to solve that problem. As we move into later in the week, that square moves from being a square with Mercury and moves into being a square with the Sun and Mars, which is a very volatile energy. The two of them are in complete conjunction with each other at the end of the week. This fiery Mars behavior with the ball of fire itself. There's a lot of energy going towards your long-term goals. But again, Saturn is providing a challenge with this, and again reminding you to take on your responsibilities in this. For example, you're trying to plan your long-term goals. Somebody else has other ideas. We're very quick to go, well, I was going to do this, but somebody came in and said this, and now because of them, I'm not doing it. That's your responsibility. Is not, it is that you gave up. Okay, regardless of what the other person said, you have to take responsibility. This isn't their fault. This is yours because of the choice that you made. Taking this responsibility puts the power in your hands versus being the victim of circumstance. And I think that in the world right now, there's a whole lot of people running around being the victim of circumstance, and it's not helping them at all. It's just complicating things more and more and more in needless ways, in many, many ways. Neptune is in an opposition with Venus for just one day. As we start the day on Sunday, that opposition ends, and Neptune just continues to be in that lovely grand sextile there with Uranus and Pluto that it has been in for a really long time. So we're looking at our own personal success, basically, and taking responsibility for our own personal success. That's a very scary thing to take on all that responsibility. And it's a very scary thing to look ourselves in the mirror and say, hey, you know what? You screwed up. You screwed this up, without putting all this pressure on yourself for screwing up. We're humans. Our job is to screw up. That's how we learn not to do that anymore. That's how we learn to make better choices. That's how we learn to become stronger, more powerful individuals. You can't avoid that lesson, because avoiding that lesson means you never take responsibility. You never take pride in what you do, and you never succeed. And that's definitely not the way you want to go either. This week is almost a very powerful shift for you guys to determine whether or not you're going to do things in the old way and continue with the same old excuses, or whether or not you're going to change things. And no, it doesn't magically change the way everybody works around you, but it does change you. It changes your ability to feel powerful. It changes the energy that you put into it. It changes your ability to be successful, even if in some of those situations there's nothing that you can do to be successful. It still helps in some way or another. So it's all about you guys taking your responsibility, and by taking your responsibility, you're claiming your power. And that's what it's all about. Don't forget, just because you're a Pisces, everybody always goes on and on about Pisces being so emotional, and I've heard Pisces also being described as lazy and not really having a whole lot of ambition. None of that is true. Yes, Pisces can get emotional. Okay, so can everybody else. Yes, Pisces can be lazy. Okay, so can everybody else. Those are not what defines you. What defines you is what you choose to do when you wake up every single morning. And that's what defines you. You taking your responsibility. This week, I feel, is one of those weeks where you wake up and go, you know what? It's time to take control of my life, and not worry about what everybody else's expectations are. I'm just going to focus on what my expectations are and see where that goes. I have a lot of faith in you guys. I know you're going to go far. Let's face it, you're Pisces. You're a little bit of all 12 signs all wrapped into one. That makes you extremely powerful human beings if you choose to step into that power. So that's what I have for you guys this week. If you love your horoscopes, I definitely would appreciate you considering sending a tip or donation through my coffee link, which is there in the description of the video. I really enjoy getting those coffees every single week, so I would really appreciate that, so I can enjoy getting more coffees. I'm Melissa Bruce, Heavy Metal Psychic. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys next week. And in the meantime, you guys step into that power. It is so your time to be amazing. I look forward to seeing what you guys do with that. And I'll see you guys next week. You guys make it a powerful week.